Friends, today I have an extraordinary story to tell you about a game that I played 10 years ago, but believe it or not, it still have one of the biggest player base in the entire internet. But this game changes so much that maybe people who play these days don't have any idea how it was back in the time. Maybe this game is even older than you. Well, by the title you probably already know. I'm gonna show you how we had gone through so that you can play Rust like it's today. My friends, I present you the ultimate Rust Legacy tier list. Right now I'm gonna say yes, you can play if you research how to do it. And that's how I got almost all the footage in this video. Unfortunately, I don't think that you can have the same feeling that I have playing back in the days. Most because I think that it's very unlikely to have 100 people playing a server these days. Don't feel sad, because with this tier list you'll be able to understand everything about this game. So, no furthermore, let's begin. The first thing that I'm going to rank in this tier list is gonna be the map. That was the map. It wasn't like this new Rust that have some variables and the map can change sometimes, and I think that's how it works. I don't play Rust too much these days, just watch some videos. Back in the time we have only one map, and it was always the same. I do remember it sometimes without grass, but I don't remember if it was another map made by mods or just a setting feature. The reason why I'm talking about the map is that you didn't have a map feature back then, or you either researched it on the internet and found it, or you went like me, not having any idea that you could find an online map and went all by yourself to explore the wilds of Rust in 2013. Oh, of course it had a map, why didn't you think about that? My computer time back in the days was limited, so I didn't bother myself to lose my time researching for a map if you can just learn it by playing. Okay, so let's see what the Rust Legacy map offers us. We have the main road that makes us round in the map. Along that we have 9 structures, named red towns. They provided almost everything that you need to become stronger in the game. The downside was the radiation, some deadly, others just annoying, because of course it was Rust. You needed to prevent it to reaching 500. After that it started to deal some damage. Like the Rust nowadays, the best way to advance and prosper in this game was to pick one of these places to farm. Well, not for scrap, this kind of thing didn't exist back there. The only way to craft best items, besides the ones that you already know, was to find them in some loot box that spawns in the towns, or their blueprint that also spawns inside of the loot box. Okay, so let's analyze each one of the cities. Big Red Town. This one was something that I had enormous appreciation for, because almost all the servers that I played, I chose this place to build a base nearby. It was just a really good town. It had a main road in the middle. In the left side it had some buildings that had a pretty good look on both floors, and in the back it has an entrance that possibilities you to enter this town without using the main road. Further ahead we have a little maze that took you to an open area with a lot of red wolves and red bears. 3 big sheets on the right side that had absolutely nothing, but you could use the last one to jump on the roof of the another in the front and have a better view of the open space in the back and one of the buildings. The loot was awesome, especially the ones in the left side building, because those were the ones that I went the most. The only downside was the extremely high radiation levels. You needed to run in and out quickly. If you were naked, you need to choose just 1 or 2 buildings. But yeah, I think it was pretty solid. I really like this one. A tier. Buildings. It consists of just 2 buildings, one on each side of the road. I never built anything near it. I mean, I built near to the red town and it's nearer to the buildings, but you get it. I never chose this specific location, so I have no idea if the loot there it was good or bad. However, there were only a few loot spots. I think it was just 2. The radiation level was really low, so you don't even need to bother about it. Just the noise. Every time I remember passing by it, I went inside and found nothing. But I guess someone got some luck and have a really good loot, but that wasn't my case. D tier. Civilian road. Well, there was a shed with a side building and a regular construction on the other side of the road. I think there were like 3 loot spots, but maybe it's too much. I didn't count because I didn't care about it. I mean, probably someone have a really good luck and found a bolt action rifle, but it wasn't my reality. Just empty spots that have loot spawns. And to go against expectation, there was a big shed, and if you went all the way to the end, you will find exactly nothing. Just walls and containers. The radiation level was also pretty low, so you don't need to bother about it. And well, the fact that it has a bit more loot spots than the last one make it a little better, so C tier. Factory Red Town. Easy, one of the most conquered spots in the game. It has 2 main spaces. The first one is a complex that I call it Big Factory. It stays in one side of the road. It had big grey walls that goes around the 3 corners of the building. Inside we have some containers and a big and a small shed, and the same building at the big red town, and of course a lot of loot. But as you already guessed, it has a lot of radiation, and I think it's one of the biggest in this game. In the other side of the road, it had a set of buildings that had a lot of red wolves and red bears, but all the buildings have some loot, and less radiation compared to the big factory. It was a really good town. A tier. Hangar. It's the biggest construction area in the game. A big field that a lot. I mean, really, every single server that you logged in, it had a base there, a really tall one. And, of course, you already guessed it has roof campers. Yes, people did this kind of thing back in 2013. All the buildings in this area are far apart, and has almost no tree in the way. Well, as the name said, it had a big hangar, and a small shelter, and some boilers. I think they are boilers. A small construction that look like the ones in the big red town, but it has a tree inside. Back then, I didn't bother, but remember it now, it's super nostalgic. Almost nothing in the terms of radiation. And the loot, back in the days, I don't have any idea. I had always died by a roof camper, so I didn't loot too much in this area, but now I can say that has a pretty decent loot. If you had a base there, is a S tier, but as almost impossible and really contented place to have a base, and I never had one of these, I'm gonna place it on the B tier. Tanks were just 2 tanks, and exactly 2 loot spots between them. Also, it had an open space in the back with a few loot spots, but the radiation level was too high. I'm gonna place it on the D tier, but as it have a lot of loot, and as you can see, I managed to take it a shotgun out of this place, I'm gonna place it on the C tier. Barns. There were 2 of them in the game. One is next to the tanks, and the other were next to the last construction in this list. Back in the time, I didn't have any idea for what purpose it was made, and nowadays I don't have it figured out. I already saw some people constructing their base blocking their entrance, but like people were able to see and shoot through the holes, and there wasn't any single loot inside it. Nothing, just wood planks, but it had no radiation, so I'm gonna place it on E tier. Small red town. This one is the pinnacle of the buildings in Rust, an iconic city that everyone who played this game for a few hours know this place. It had a grey wall that has 4 openings, 2 for the road pass through it and 1 for each one of the sides. Inside the walls we have 6 buildings. This building you already saw in another places, and every one of these buildings have some loot. The radiation was so low that you'll probably be able to loot all the city without even care about it. It was the best city in the game. S tier. Well, I think it's it. That was all the buildings that I remember during the time I played this game. I do remember that some servers have some new buildings, but I didn't play any of them. So if you had played or have a really cool stories about a building that you had, please share in the comments. Okay, now that we have talked about the cities, we need to discuss about the guardians of them. If you thought the only problem when you went to these cities was the radiation or the person that were looting inside, you were completely wrong. If you went by the road, you would encounter red animals, more specifically red wolves and red bears. They were almost exactly the same as normal one, but they drop bags that contain some loot, and after you kill, you can try to farm it, but it will give almost nothing. Well, they have good loot, but you need to run away from them, and it's not cool when the loot are trying to kill you, so I'm gonna place them in the B tier. Since we start talking about the animals, let's keep going. Bear. It's an hostile animal that will chase you, even if you are certain that the distance between you and the bear is bigger than you think. It had a bigger health pool, needing about 7 arrows to be killed. And yes, all my comparisons with the health pool of the animals are going to be in arrows you need to kill it. After you kill it, you're gonna farm it, and it gives you cloth, blood, and the best thing in this game that makes me laugh every time someone plays for the first time, raw chicken breast. But if you want, you could run away from it. And when I said run away, you need to cross around half map to lose them. Well, but they are slower than you, so you don't need to worry about it. Just make sure to run far away, or just jump on some structure that can follow us. That was also a way to dismiss them. Well, I like the bears. A tier. Boar. I think that the one that you have in Rust nowadays try to fight you back, but back there, the one that you had just run away from us. They are slower than you, so you can chase them, and you can basically stay inside of them and start hitting them with our melee weapon. But if you had a bow, it's just 2 arrows. The difference is that they are the primal source of animal fat. They are extremely important to make some furnitures, just like the Rust nowadays. And it also also gives you raw chicken breast, cloth and blood. But the fact that you could kill it when you wake up in a new server makes it one of the best animals in the game. So I'm gonna put on the S tier. Wolves. I just hate them. What is the benefit of doing a bear that runs the same speed as you? Like, they just chase you and never stop chasing you. You didn't have the feeling of crossing a whole mountain. Think that you already got away of it. Start to farm all by yourself and out of nowhere it just come back and it makes a whole mountain around just to chase you. Like, it has passed almost 5 minutes. Well, they also died for 2 arrows. Oh, but they die fast. Yeah, but when you are naked, they are the worst thing that you can encounter. They are really annoying, especially when you spawn in the world. The only good sign they had is that they gave a lot of cloth compared to the other animals. Well, said that D tier. Deer. Almost everything that I said about the boar do apply on this one, but it was fast. I get it, like the real world one is fast, so this one need to beat you. But damn, that was unbelievable fast. So fast that if you miss the second arrow, you probably would never see it again. And it was kind of common to saw one and try to shoot it and kill it with one arrow. Then you know that someone tried to hunt it. So it gives a lot of cloth and raw chicken breasts. So I'm gonna give it A tier. Rabbit. Yes, we had some rabbits in the game. It was cute. I just remember black ones, but I think it had other colors. They give us a few clothes and, you guessed it, a raw chicken breast. They are super easy to kill, but they are pretty difficult to find because they didn't make any sound. You just needed one arrow to kill it. So I'm gonna place it on the B tier. Chickens. Well, we also have chickens. They need to be right at least once. The reason why every single animal in this list gives you raw chicken breasts. And as the rabbits, they just need one arrow to be killed. But it made a lot of noise, so it's easy to find. And I'm gonna place it on A tier. Zombies. This last one is kind of a bonus. It was a time where DayZ mod was booming and the Walking Dead series. And they thought that adding zombies mobs will be a good idea. For me, it was. Someone that wants to play DayZ but couldn't, and now have a game that has zombies, it was awesome. They were commonly found among the red wolves and red bears, and also dropped some bags that contain some loot, and was just the best. Just for nostalgia, I'm gonna place on the S tier. Okay, with the mobs now out of the way, we can keep going. The next one is gonna be the farm items, but I'm not going to tier list them. And the reason why I'm doing this is because you don't need to list wood and stones. But I need to share something. Back in the day, we didn't farm for trees. They gave us 2 little wood. Actually, we have some wood piles that we farm around the map. And I do remember having only 2 types of stone. The ones that give you sulfur and the ones that give you metal fragments. After that, they changed for 3 types. And before they changed it, every single stones give a little bit of every single one of the items. So yeah, it was common that metal fragment stones give you some sulfur, but of course very less than the one that sulfur stone gives you. Let's keep going and go straight to the items. And just to clarify some things, I'm going to rank just the final product. I don't see the needing to rank every single one of them, especially the byproducts. Gunpowder, leather and metal fragments, no point in trying to rank them because they are all important. Okay, so let's begin with the armors. Cloth armor. One of the first sets that you're going to encounter in the game. They are made using only cloth, having a total of 4 pieces that provides some kind of protection to some of the damage that the game provides you. The whole set costs a total of 26 cloths and make your character looks all white. It draws a lot of attention to it and has little protection compared to the bullet damage. It was the most important one because everyone back there used guns, but it was a set that you spawn knowing how to craft it, so was pretty useful. I'm gonna place it on the C tier. Leather armor. The leather armor is the second one, but you could thought it of the 1.5 version of the cloth armor. It has just a slight better aspect than the cloth one. As you can see, they only increase the bullet protection in the pants and the boots, but all the pieces have some radiation protection, so it was kind of useful. It cost a total of 38 leather, so it meaning that was extremely cheap. You saw a lot of people using it back in the days. It was a red t-shirt with blue pants, but different from the cloth set, you need to find it to research it, so it took a bit of time to have the whole set. B tier. Kevlar set, the best set for PvP in the game. It has all their stats gone up almost by 3 times when compared to the leather one. Needing only 19 high quality metal and 14 leathers, it was pretty cheap back in the time. I do remember a lot of people going around with this suit, and I do love the colors that make your character looks like. A black t-shirt and grey pants was just awesome. S tier. Red set. This set was good just for one thing in particular, and as the name suggests, prevents you from radiation. I do remember that one time I got the full set and went inside of the big red town, and I do remember that I got amazed that I could stay so many times without using any red pills. It's commonly found in the loot box, so you would see people running around with some of the set pieces. It cost a total of 50 cloth and 150 frag metals. This set was a green one, with really vibrant colors, that one that you saw really far away, but I never bothered to research it, and to think that you need to change your clothes just to go to a red town without using pills, and you could encounter someone inside it is just better to went with a leather set, so I'm gonna place it on the C tier. Okay, after the armors we are now entering to the food. Do I remember anything about the food? Of course not. I just eat them and was it, but now I need to make it a tier list of them, so let's try to make it the fastest as possible. Can of beans. It grows your health in 5, grows the hunger bar in 300, and make your radiation go down in 50 points. They are just found in red towns, so pretty average. B tier. Cooked chicken breasts. Your health go up by 3, your hunger bar go up by 500, and your radiation decrease in 20 points. It's the byproduct of the raw chicken breast. It takes some time to cook, but you have a lot of it. S tier. Small rations. Grow your health 35 points, grow the hunger bar in 750 points, and give you 35 radiation. I mean, it makes sense. Like, something stay in the radiation, it will give you radiation. Well, but just because of that, A tier. Can of tuna. It grows your health in 5, grows the hunger bar in 300, and make your radiation go down in 25 points. I mean, it's just a worse version of the can of beans, so C tier. Granola bar. Grow your health in 5, grow the hunger bar in 150, and had no radiation decrease. It's the worst item that you can find in the red towns. I'm gonna place it on E tier. Small water bottle. This one is not worse than the granola bar just because it decreased the radiation by a lot, but it still is the only thing that it did, so D tier. Chocolate bar. It grows your health in 8 and grows the hunger bar in 250, but has no red decrease. I want to put it up just because I love chocolate, but we are saying things about the game, so D tier. Raw chicken breast. It decreases your health in 10 points, grow the hunger bar in 80, and makes you lose 50 radiation points. Just don't eat this, like wait a little longer and eat it cooked. F tier. Cool, now we pass through the food, so the next one is gonna be the meds and radiation pills. Well, as the name said, it reduces the radiation level of the player. Pretty useful when you are looting the red towns. It's an indispensable item to have in your inventory. A tier. Bandage. You spawn with 2 of them. It was really effective when you got some bleeding made by a fight or some wild animal, but it didn't make your health go up. It was very cheap to craft it, but it only stopped bleeding, so C tier. Small med kit. People just use it because they didn't find the large one, so it was the only option. It cost almost the same as the bandage, just with 2 extra blood bags, and it helps our health to go up, so yeah, pretty useful. A tier. Large med kits. They are just like the small one, but better. It was indispensable. It was always in the hotbar of everyone that played this game. It was extremely cheap, but a little hard to find. But if you manage to kill someone with a Kevlar vest, they are probably gonna have it. So, of course, S tier. Yes, that was everything that you had to use in a fight to heal yourself. But right now, I'm not judging the developers. Even 10 years later, even I can't create anything else to heal myself better than the one they present. And it was pretty simple, so I like it. Let's go to the biggest and last tier list, the one that almost everyone is waiting for, the weapon tier list. So let's start. 9mm pistol. It has average to low damage, a very low recoil, and a very short range. It used the 9mm armor and has a capacity of 12 shots. It was a simple pistol, and I personally didn't like it too much. I think that is a bit expensive for what is offered, but it was what they get. D tier. Bolt action rifle. Their damage can variable in 60 60 and 70, but if you manage to shoot a red shot it was instant kill. The recoil is 14 and the range is 250. The ammunition used is 5.5 and it has a capacity of 3 shots. It was a good and trusty sniper, one of the best weapons in the game by far, and I'm not saying that because I'm a sniper lover. Nothing was better than listening to a red shot after you fired it. It was just perfect, and in my opinion was a bit too expensive, but yeah, it was a one red shot gun, so it is what it is. S tier. Explosive. Well, apparently it was a weapon back there. Actually, I already saw someone dying because of it, but it was a mistake. At least at the crafting they gave some function to the flare. It's our best item when you are raiding the base, but yeah, I don't think that you have anything to compare it to. Well, actually I have, so I need to put in the S tier. And just a quick note, the thing that I liked the most was the fact that you were able to find it inside of a red bear backpack. It was a tiny chance, but it exists. The thought of a big red bear running around with a tiny backpack with a C4 inside makes me smile every time. F1 grenades. They are just awful. Even the wiki said that was one of the worst items in the game. The only time I remember using it were when someone got stuck in a place and we threw some grenades to kill them. But yeah, they were just too expensive and not worth F tier. Rend cannon. Yeah, it has 180 damage, 45 recoil and 20 range. The ingredients in this one are wrong. The right amount was 20 wood and 10 metal fragments. Well, you had this item in Rust, so you probably already know how it works. Yeah, for my perspective it was one of the worst items in the game, but I do prefer it than have a rend grenade, so E tier. Hatchet. So I never saw anyone trying to use it as a weapon to kill someone. They just use it to farm some animals or resource. And different for these days, it didn't matter if it was stone or wood. It was able to farm everything. Well, we are in the weapon tier list, so I'm gonna place it on the B. And just a side note, when you use it, the hand of your character changes. It appears using black gloves with long sleeves, and when you use a rock, it just naked. To think that your character needs to change their clothes really fast is funny. Hunting bow. The damage is 75. It throws arrows and has a capacity of 1 each time. This one is the best weapon in the game, and it's not because I like archer teams, but because you can kill anyone, no matter the armor they are equipped with, using only 2 arrows, and it has no limit distance. So if you are really good at aiming, you can kill anyone at any distance. The feeling of killing a Kevlar guy using just a hunting bow was awesome, and I do really love it. S tier. M4. It has 35 damage and 80 recoil and a range of 140. The ammunition is a 5.5. The M4 was what the AK is nowadays, considered the best weapon in the game. It was just good, everyone liked it, so yeah, S tier. MP5A4 has 25 damage, a recoil of 7 and 80 range, uses 90mm armor. Well, they needed some weapon that can fire 90mm armor like M4, and that was the weapon. It was just there. In my opinion, it's a bit expensive, so if you are saving some metal fragment to build this one, just save a little more and build the M4. C tier. P250 has 33 damage, a recoil of 11 and a range of 120. The ammunition used is a 90mm armor and has a capacity of 8. This one was the weapon that I used the most in this game. It was really cheap, reliable, and with a good accuracy. I just like it a lot, and compared to the other 9mm, it was better, and in my mind it was better because it looked cooler, and apparently it was correct. So A tier. Pipe shotgun. It has a damage of 144, a recoil of 28, and a range of 80. This is another weapon that stays in the new Rust. I don't remember using it a lot, but people use a lot these days in the Rust. I think it's fair to admit that it has some usage, so C tier. Revolver. It has a damage of 29, a 10-point recoil, and a range of 80. As the same as the last one, the new Rust already had it, but I have a really good appreciation about revolvers, and I do remember when they announced it, and I get really hyped about the revolver. Yeah, just a really good reliable gun that you spawn knowing how to craft it, so I'm gonna place it on the B tier. Rock. I mean, it's what you spawn with, so pretty reliable and almost no damage, so E tier. Shotgun. A damage of 189, a recoil of 15 and a range of 30. You probably think that was really good, but just when you are in close range. I mean, really close range. It has the same cost as the P250, but almost everyone preferred the pistol for a PvP. The shotgun was only useful for farming some animals, so C tier. Stone hatchet. Well, do you remember everything that I said about the metal ratchet? Yeah, it was exactly the same, but worst. Actually, you can skip it completely. You just need to find some metal fragments in the red town and just go ahead and craft craft it. I was going to place it below the metal ratchet, but they are just worst. So yeah, D tier. And just to clarify, we didn't have any stone pickaxe. And well, we had the iron one. And yes, it was useful to farm wood. Actually, I think that it was able to increase the amount of wood that you can gather from a pile. But the thing that really stays in my mind when I think about that was when a friend of mine killed someone using it. Like, the guy had a shotgun and missed all the fire, and my friend managed to hit him with a pickaxe and kill the guy. I do laugh a lot at this day, and was just perfect. S tier. Okay, towns, armor, food, med, weapon. Oh yeah, I have the weapon mods. Okay, so let's rank the weapon mods. Flashlight, to make the place brighter, and it was it? B tier. Hollow sight. Well, it was the only sight that the game offer. So yeah, S tier. Laser sight. Was good. Like, it make the gun look more professional, but it can be truly useful to find the location of the loot in an enemy base. The reason why is because this laser can pass through the walls, but it's in the wood loot box. So yeah, you kinda figure out where the loot was. S tier. Silencer. Well, everybody know for what it was made. I'm gonna say that was too cheap, but yeah, silence was pretty needed back in the time. Also S tier. Okay, then next one gonna be the building tier list. Actually, no, not tier list. I mean, no need for it. We just had two type of buildings, the wood ones and the metal ones. And nobody back there used the metal ones because they were just too expensive. What I do want to talk about was how base was created. Back there, we don't have any build plans or hammer. The only way to create your own base was to craft it by hand and place the foundation, the walls and the pillars in your inventory. Then you go and place it. And of course, when you are placed it, someone can go kill you and take everything, and it was just rust. Oh, but if I place something wrong, can I destroy it? And the answer was no, only if the server has some kind of mod, but the normal one, no, you just need to leave it with it. Other thing that didn't exist back there was the two cupboards. So yes, the building privilege was not an existing thing. The only way to protect your base from riders to construct next to it was to place some foundation in a funny way that prevents them to place foundation next to your base. And if the people weren't aware of it, you'll be able to raid their base pretty easy. Other thing that was different from the Rust nowadays, and for me was the most beautiful aspect of this game, was that we didn't have a height limit in construction. So yeah, you can construct the taller you want. And I made really tall bases, but no, I didn't roof camp on top of it. To bypass this, the server just set a height limit, but the one they didn't have this limitation had really tall buildings. So yeah, you can have an idea in how many things you need to think when you are raiding a base. And the only way to enter inside this base was using C4s. So if you had a really tall base, they are probably unhideable, because the amount of C4 that they need to ride it was just extremely large, and probably no one can craft it. Okay, now that you build your base and you think you are secure, time to furniture and protect it. Well, just looking at this image, it's pretty straightforward what is protection and what is furniture. And I think I don't need to make a tier list about everything here, just because it's also pretty straightforward what is better than what. I mean, wooden door and metal door, of course, metal door, wooden storage box and large wooden storage box. The thing about small stash is because it's pretty hard to find it, so if you don't know where is it, you probably lose very important items when you're invading someone. We have the small spikes and the large spikes. So yeah, the large is better than the small one. They are pretty useful when you don't have a lot of wood to place some foundations to protect your base. But about the furniture is just the workbench and the larger wood storage and the furnace. Well, we also have the repair bench, but I don't remember using it because I don't even remember the item have a health bar. The wood gateway and the wood gate that nobody made, because if you try to surround your base using spikes, they just gonna place a foundation and jump over it. We have the sleeping bag and the bed, and of course the metal one is better, but I don't remember if it increased the time of spawn, and I think that was it. I mean, your base was consisted of just a workbench and some furnace, a campfire for cooking some meat, and a large wooden box to store everything that you want. Normally you place it the higher you can in the base. That was how a pretty standard base was made in Legacy Rust. And probably the last thing that I'm gonna talk about is the tool list. Again, no tier list. The only useful thing there is the research kit. The other one are useless, like the blood draw kits that use your own health to draw some blood bags, but why you need to do it if you can just go outside and farm some animals. The recycle kit that I have never saw in my entire life, and the handmade lockpick that really looks like a really powerful item, but when you manage to know that they are not talking about the doors but the backpacks that the player used, you just figure out that it was extremely unnecessary. Yeah, for the last tier list, yes, I know I said it wouldn't be the weapon one, but no, it wasn't. Actually it's this one. I do really like it because it was something that me and my friends always talk about when we are playing this game. This tier list was about the updates that we hoped that the game had. Well, back in the day we we invest our time to discuss about it. So what were these updates that we hoped that we get? Cars. Yeah, back in the time we talked a lot about it. Just the thought of having another way to move around the map was really great. I do remember people trying to make mods about it, and it was so weighted that even the servers placed their names saying that they have cars in the server, and the idea to be able to move around fast was pretty cool. So yeah, A tier. Zombie hordes. Before they delete the zombies for the game, we said that will be a day that, just like the orders from The Walking Dead, will appear in the game. We thought that it's gonna be some kind of event or something that permanently go around in the road, and to think that you'll be able to live something that you saw just in the movies and in the TV shows make us really happy. So I'm gonna place it on the S tier. Horse. Yeah, another way to move around. I mean, we really want to do something instead of just walking to the one point of the map to another. And yeah, as we had some animals in the game, why not add some horse? In the end they did up adding it, but not in the Rust Legacy. So I feel that they don't like Legacy anymore. So B tier. Map. As you can see, don't feel that you have the whole map exposed to us. Actually, you have something in the top and something in the right. Back in the time, we do believe that we had some expansion in the map, and they are going to make it little by little. And that was the reason why we were so obsessed with the transportation. And the thing that you are participating of something brand new, that just you have the opportunity to explore it from the beginning, was something that made us feel so special. S tier. Well, I think that was all. Well, I tier list everything about the game. I even managed to remember things that I discussed 10 years ago with my friends. Just to remember these kind of things take me a lot of time. But if you remember any theory that you have with your friends, feel free to share with us in the comment. I am really bad in remember things. Well, I think this is everything that the game has to offer you. And it was completely different from the players. No, I'm not going to do a tier list of players in Rust, Legacy, and okay, let's start. Naked. I like the naked one. They normally just spawn and are trying to understand the game. They were super friendly because, of course, they probably had in their inventory some loot that they gathered with a rock. And everybody knows that gathering some loot with a rock is extremely time consuming. And they probably run away from some wolf or bears and are just trying to survive in this environment, and then you appear out of nowhere. You show them kindness and then you shoot them because yeah, it was Rust. I mean, you need to kill some people, even the naked. So the cycle of the strongest killing the weakest can continue. Well, C tier. Same naked. This one was the completely opposite of the naked one. These guys rush to get a weapon and try their best to pick a fight. They normally use some pieces of clothes sets they just found and a gun, but normally a bow. They usually prefer to fight some farmers, but if they found some stronger one, they are not going back. They fight until the end. I'm gonna place it in the D tier. Farmers. As their name suggests, they just farm, like everybody. They were just like little loot bags that run around. Every time you manage to kill one of it, you just got extremely happy. But these guys were really good in running away, especially when they went through a forest or any kind of mountain. They just get lost. I really have respect for this kind of guy. A tier. Roof camp. If you were one of these guys that stays in the roof camping, I have no respect for you. Really, I just don't like you. I'm gonna place you right where you deserve it and where you don't like to be, in the floor. F tier. Red Town campers. At least you went out of your base and tried to do something. But yeah, goddamn, it's really boring when you turn the corner and someone just blasts your face with a shotgun. I don't like it, but it's better than the roof campers. E tier. Red Town owners. They just make their whole base around the Red Town. I just saw it one time in my life, but already saw it some videos that people that speaks about it. It was more common in their server they have 100 times the loot that you gather, and normally they have addressed it in the server name. Well, I don't like these guys. D tier. Big groups. They just kill everyone and loot everything the way. You know that ants that went around in the forest, killing everything they saw and come across? Well, they are exactly like this group. They even use black, but I was a part of this kind of group. I do understand that was pretty bad for a lot of people, so I'm gonna place them in the C tier. Nice people, they were just nice, so S tier. Yeah, no, just kidding. No, not the fact that I'm going to place there in the S tier, but because it's the only thing that I have to talk about it. Nice people in this game wasn't something that was unlikely to have. Actually, I have met my best friends through Rust, just because I was friendly, and I think that is the point why I care so much about Rust Legacy. The fact that I play with my friends make this game so special. It could be any kind of game, but it was Rust Legacy. See, I don't want to go in this rabbit hole where I talk about how the internet back there was different and it makes the game different, so make the people different. No, I do believe in this kind of stuff, but I'm not here to talk about it. Here I just want to share about a game that I really liked a long time ago, and nowadays people don't even realize that this game that they love have changed so much, and people love it before the way it is. So yeah, I'm gonna thank you for watching another video of one, and if you want to saw another video where I talk about a game that was part of my life, you can check out this video. So thank you very much for everything, and I see you in the next video. Thank you very much.